episode 3. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Heather. If you have seen me before, then you already know that my name is Heather, so welcome back. So if you are watching this video when it's being posted, it is currently Saturday, so you're probably a bit confused about why I'm posting on Saturday, because I usually post on Wednesdays, and that is because I did not post last week. I explained this in my last video a little bit in the description, but because of everything that's been going on, it just didn't feel right to post. Last week, I sort of took a break from posting my own content on all my social medias, just because I wanted to leave space for Black creators and people in the Black community to talk, and I didn't want to be clouding up anyone's feed with my content. However, I still wanted to give you guys 4 Pride-related videos this month, since it is Pride Month, and I did promise you that. So I posted on Wednesday and I'm posting on Saturday to sort of catch up, and then from here on out I will be posting weekly on Wednesdays like I usually do. And like I did in my last video, I am also leaving a link to a website that has lots of resources to help with the Black Lives Matter movement. It has petitions, places to donate, informational pages to educate yourself, so please check that out and do what you can. Anyway, for today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about compulsory heterosexuality and internalized homophobia. And if you don't know what these terms mean, don't worry, because I will be defining them soon, but I feel like this is an important topic to talk about because there aren't very many videos about this, and it's definitely something that I struggled with and still struggle with while figuring out my sexuality. So that is what I'm going to be talking about today. Before I get into this, I do want to mention that Georgia Bridgers made a really good video about internalized homophobia. So I'm going to leave that in the description, as well as another resource on this topic that you can watch. Very good video. I watched it myself and it was very informative. So definitely check that out as well. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. So I just got my laptop here because I want to give you guys definitions of compulsory heterosexuality and internalized homophobia, just in case you don't know what those are, so I'm going to just be reading off of them. So compulsory heterosexuality is when someone experiences attraction to the opposite gender because that expectation has been pushed onto them by the patriarchal society that we live in. This is often experienced by lesbians and makes it hard to distinguish between one's own feelings and those they are expected to feel. And internalized homophobia is defined as the gay person's direction of negative social attitudes about the LGBTQ+ community towards the self. So like I said, compulsory heterosexuality is very common in lesbians, in women who are attracted to other women because of women's role in society, in history. Obviously, women's rights are a lot better than they were in history, but for centuries women have sort of been taught that their role in society is to cater to men and be attractive to men and have babies and be the homemaker and all that sort of stuff. And although things are a lot better nowadays, the idea that the end goal for women is to get married and have babies is still sort of pushed on girls from a very young age. So this can make discovering your identity as a lesbian or a bisexual woman very confusing, and it definitely was for me as well. Because it was pushed on me so much by society that I was eventually going to find a nice guy and get married to him, I never even considered that I had other options beyond that until late in my middle school years, early high school years, like I mentioned in my coming out story. A lot of us aren't necessarily taught that being gay is wrong, but you're sort of taught that being straight is the normal thing and the right thing. So you never really open your mind to the other options because everything around you in society is telling you that you're going to end up being one way, and you need to make sure that you're attractive so that a boy will like you and fall in love with you. And it's just, it can mess with your head a lot, and it definitely did for me. We are raised to be so conscious of what boys think of us and how we appear to boys. So it's definitely hard to unlearn those things that society pushes on you from day one. And I feel like that's part of the reason that I was so conflicted about my sexuality. Like I mentioned in my coming out story, I would go back and forth thinking, oh, I'm gay, oh, I'm bisexual, I'm gay, I'm bisexual, because I was taught from such a young age that this is the way it's supposed to be. You have to be attractive to boys, so I thought that I was attracted to them, even though I'm not. And because of all this compulsory heterosexuality around me, as I started to figure out my sexuality, I had a lot of internalized homophobia towards myself because I felt like I was doing the wrong thing and the thing I hadn't been taught and influenced to do my whole life. So it was hard for me to sort of go against that and accept my sexuality within myself. Even though I've been out for over 2 years and I'm in a lovely relationship with my girlfriend, I still find myself struggling with internalized homophobia and this idea of compulsory heterosexuality. So it definitely isn't something that just goes away by the snap of the fingers. It takes active work constantly, and I'm still working on it to this day. Like, for example, I'll find myself being overly conscious when I am out in public with my girlfriend of holding her hand or kissing her, and like I want to do these things, I want to be able to do these things, but I feel like I'm just so worried about everyone around me and the stares that I'll get, and that really makes me angry that I still feel that way, and I know it upsets my girlfriend too, but it's definitely something that takes a long time and a lot of work to get over. One of the things that I do to sort of fight back against this internalized homophobia is I try to remember that the most important opinion is my own, and yeah, I might get stares if I hold my girlfriend's hand in public, but it doesn't really matter because I should be happy that I get to spend this time with my girlfriend and hold her hand and show her off. And this can definitely be hard to wrap your mind around, but you just sort of have to realize that other people's opinions aren't as important as your own. And if people are going to think negatively of you, that's on them. That's their own issue, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with being gay, and as hard as it is, you should try to be proud of it and be proud of your relationship and proud of your identity, because you deserve that. You deserve that for yourself. So when you're out in public with your same-sex partner and you feel yourself being afraid to hold their hand or kiss their cheek or whatever it may be, try to remind yourself that it's beautiful what you have. Your relationship is beautiful, and you should be able to be yourself and show it off, and whatever anyone else thinks doesn't matter in the long run. Of course, if you're in an unsafe situation, you don't want to be doing that stuff, because unfortunately there are still a lot of prejudices against the LGBTQ+ community. So if you're out late at night in a sketchy area, I probably wouldn't recommend holding your partner's hand, which is unfortunate, but your safety obviously comes first in these situations. But yes, this is something that you have to actively work on and actively think about. You need to realign your thoughts when you're having these internalized homophobia related thoughts. You sort of have to realign yourself and realize that there's nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with your relationship, and you shouldn't be putting that hatred on yourself just because there are people around you that don't accept your love. This hatred against LGBTQ+ people really just doesn't make any sense, because these people that are hating it and being negative towards you because of it are hating love, something so wonderful and so beautiful, or hating you being who you are, and these aren't things that you should be ashamed of. These are things that you should be embracing. So like I said, just you need to try to put your opinion above these negative ones, because your own opinion and the positive opinions around you are the ones that mean the most, not the negative ones. All right, I feel like I was all over the place with that video and it probably made no sense, but hopefully you were able to get something out of it from me sharing my experience and my tips about how to deal with internalized homophobia and compulsory heterosexuality. If you guys have any other questions about this topic, definitely leave those down below and I will try my best to answer them. Also, check out Georgia Bridger's video. She probably did a way better job at explaining it than I did, so that might be a little bit more helpful than my video was. If you guys have any other video requests, also please leave them down below, because I like to make videos that you guys want to see. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this Saturday's video, this second video of the week. Like I said, I will be going back to my regular posting schedule next week. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, got some information out of it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye, guys.